Hi, April here, Vegan Lunch Mom, with another food prep video for you. The first vegetable we're going to prep is radishes. So I would just pop them off of the stems and give them a good rinse. And then I like to put them on a paper towel to rub all of the dirt off to make sure, because when you wash them, you're just kind of getting them wet. So you want to make sure you wipe the dirt off and then cut the stem off and that little tiny tail. Just put them in some kind of container. Radishes are something that our family is still trying to get used to, but they're so healthy for you, so the best thing to do is just put them in a salad if you're not a big fan. And then of course I have my peppers for the week. I love bell peppers. Our whole family does. So I like to spray them with a vinegar water mixture and then let them sit for a little bit and then rinse them off and rub them dry with a towel. And then you want to make sure you cut the little sticker off because the sticker can leave residue and you don't want to eat that. Let me know in the comments below if you have a fruit or vegetable that you guys just have to have every week. We eat peppers pretty much every day. Do you have a fruit or vegetable that you eat every day? The peppers should keep well up to 5 days in an airtight container in the refrigerator. Next, I'm going to prep some carrots. I don't know about you, but I think that the baby carrots that you buy in bags have a really off taste to them. So I like to just get big carrots, peel them, cut them, and have them ready each week because they taste a lot better. And then once they're all cut into sticks, just put them in a mason jar and fill it up with some purified water. You want to make sure they're covered in water, otherwise the carrots get limp. And just put the top on. Sometimes during the week you might have to replace the water if the water is looking dingy. For one of our desserts or snacks, we're making some cookie bars. Our favorite butter to use is Earth Balance soy-free for baking. My little helper is helping me make the cookie dough. This is one of his favorite things to help me make because he loves to taste the sugar. This cookie recipe is already on my channel, so I'm not going to tell you all the measurements of the ingredients, but I don't have that many videos on my channel yet, so it should be really easy to find if I don't remember to put it in my description box. We made them into bars instead of having to bake a bunch of cookies. Sometimes that's just easier. So when you bake them into bars, you just put them in a greased baking dish and you bake them for about 25 minutes if you're making a full batch. Now we're going to cut some honeydew melon. I've been eating a lot of honeydew melon this summer. I haven't had a bad one yet, and yeah, it's just so good. So when you are cutting any kind of melon, you want to have an empty bowl next to you to scoop out all the seeds so it's not dripping down your cutting board. And then I like to cut some in different ways. So this one I'm just going to cut into little chunks, and I'll show you how I do that. And then for the other half of the melon, I'm going to cut them into strips so I can use a miniature cookie cutter or a vegetable fruit cutter that you can get on Amazon to make them fun shapes all ready to go for kids' lunches or snacks or even breakfast. That way It just adds a little fun to their food. You don't have to worry about wasting any of the melon when you're cutting into shapes, because you can still cut the outline of the shape out and eat it. Maybe your kids don't want to eat it, but you certainly can. Next is celery. When you're cutting the bottom off of the celery, you should save it if you have kids so they can use it as a stamp. It makes a really pretty flower. I like to cut my celery, cut each end off, and I like to wash it after I cut it. I like to get a wet paper towel and wash the celery that way, because that way you can rub off all the dirt. And then after you wash them and you start putting them into the jar, you can cut off any bad spots that you see. Celery does need to be stored in water, just like the carrots, but they don't have to be covered in water like the carrots do. Another snack that we're going to prep is these crispy treats made with peanut butter, no marshmallows. In a large bowl, you're going to add 4 cups of Rice Krispies cereal. And then separately into a small saucepan, you're going to add some peanut butter. 3/4 cup of peanut butter. You can do any nut or seed butter that you want, but that's what I'm using. And then you'll use 3/4 cup of maple syrup, a 1/4 cup of refined coconut oil, because if you use unrefined, then you're going to have a small coconut taste. And then you're going to just mix that up until it's heated over medium-low heat, and just mix that until it's completely incorporated. And then you're going to let it cool for a little bit before you add it to the cereal. Once it's cooled for about 10 minutes, then you can add it to your cereal. I actually waited a little less than I should have because it started to melt the chocolate chips. But just give that a really good stir. Add 1/2 cup of dairy-free chocolate chips and give that a good stir, or kind of folding it in. And then you're going to line a 8x8 or a 9x9 baking dish, or if you want them thin, you can even use a bigger baking dish. I have it lined with parchment paper so it doesn't stick. And then spread the mixture evenly through the dish and press firmly down so they'll really hold together. And then you're going to put them in the refrigerator 2 to 4 hours to firm up. Now they do have to stay in the refrigerator once they're all done. These are what they look like when they come out. When they're done chilling, you can cut them into squares or rectangles, but they do have to be stored in the fridge. And then I prep some granola. I love making granola for the week, but honestly, it can last up to 3 weeks in a mason jar. This recipe is already on my channel. The only difference I did this week was I used all rolled oats instead of adding sunflower seeds. Once it's cooled, you want to break the pieces apart that have clumped together. And then pour it into a mason jar. And I didn't have to make any kind of bean dip or hummus this week because I had my half batch frozen already of hummus, so that saved a lot of time. Spinach. Spinach is one thing that I let go to waste sometimes. I'll use half of it and then the other half just rots. So I'm going to make some spinach muffins, and then I'm also going to make some spinach pancakes during the week for dinner. I made my mini vegan spinach muffins. And even my picky eater likes them, so that's great. And the recipe is already on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this food prep video. I hope it inspires you and motivates you to do some meal prepping or food prep to make your life a little easier during the week. For more food prep videos and lunches and recipes, please subscribe.